Good afternoon. It's good to join you all. In a few moments, we're going to sign into law a piece of legislation that's going to allow us here in the state of Wisconsin to extend unemployment benefits to individuals here in the state for an additional 13 weeks. I want to particularly thank a number of lawmakers who are here who both champion this bill as authors as well as championing the bill in the committees that they chair. Got State Senator Van Wanggaard, the author in the State Senate, and the chair of the committee went through there, and his counterpart, Joan Baldwin, State Representative, who was both the Assembly author and whose committee went through, and also joined by Representative Nylands and Representative Stone, and Secretary Bombach, and Executive Assistant Maxwell joining us from the Department of Workforce Development. In a moment, I'm going to sign it into law, but I wanted to highlight why this is a good day for people all across the state of Wisconsin. This bill really is the final step of something we started out asking for back in April. We looked at the ability that on the good side of things, when unlike other states, because of some of the good news we've had lowering unemployment compared to where we were a year ago and compared to what the other states were, Wisconsin at that point after mid-April was not eligible without legislative action to have an extension of unemployment benefits. We asked at that time the Unemployment Insurance Panel Council that historically has looked at these issues to take action. We asked repeatedly for them to take action, and at the time even some members of both political parties, I know for example Representative Barca raised concerns about them not meeting as well at that point. Well, after a lot of time and a lot of discussion, we're at a point today where we're going to sign into law the extension. It's one where in the end, looking at the numbers that the Department of Workforce Development gave me, is it's over an estimated $88 million in new federal funds that will be available for individuals to have that extension of unemployment benefits here in the state of Wisconsin. It obviously goes from 73 weeks to 86 weeks. That will help up to 40,000 claimants who will be able to get those extended benefits over that time period. That's important, because even though we've seen in the last 6 months the economy has improved at a much faster pace when it comes to jobs than we've seen at the national level. In January through June alone, we've seen 39,300 new jobs in the state of Wisconsin. That's more than double the pace that we see at the national level. We saw 9,500 net new jobs alone in the month of June. That's even seasonally adjusted numbers, so that doesn't that accounts for permanent jobs in areas like hospitality and tourism. Not just seasonal jobs that you see at the Dells and other places, all of which are important as well, but accounts for all that. So we've seen rapid growth. We see a fast pace. We see employers, both within the state and around the country, employers nationally looking at the survey and finding that the rankings that historically have had us in the bottom range between 40 and 50. We moved up 17 spots, up to 24 this year, as one of the best states to do business in the country. And we see even amongst employers surveyed here in the state of Wisconsin by the statewide Chamber of Commerce that unlike the 10% last year who thought we were heading in the right direction, this year 88% believe we're heading in the right direction, and a solid majority of those surveyed say they're going to add jobs in the next 12 months. Having said all that, there are still plenty of people in this state who, try as they may, are still having a hard time finding a job. We're going to continue to work hard every day of every week of every month I serve in office to make sure there are many private sector jobs created in the state of Wisconsin as possible. But during that time frame, we know there are a lot of people who are working hard day in and day out to try and find a job to help support their family, and so giving them an additional 13 weeks at a time when even though the state's economy is improving, the national economy is not improving at nearly the same pace. We need to continue to give those individuals, those workers, and particularly those families, the kind of additional coverage they need to keep supporting families here in the state of Wisconsin. So it's why it's my honor to be here today to sign this into law. A couple little technicalities, we'll sign it and then I'll take some questions. But as I mentioned, this will offer a little bit more than about $88 million. It'll be anywhere in the range of, it's 20 to 40,000, so we've set up to 40,000 individuals who will benefit from this. This will allow individuals to go back retroactive. So starting when the estimates or when the time frame had ran out for the extended benefits on April 17th. That will continue. And the Department of Workforce Development, because they've been anticipating this, working with us in administration, we're going to be able to sign it today and start taking action in terms of helping with those retroactive benefits and looking at the future benefits as early as this Friday. So we're being aggressive because we know, particularly at the tail end, again, as much as there's signs of improvement, as much as we see a much quicker pace for job creation in the state, we still have a long ways to go to get everybody in the state who wants a job back to work again. And one of the most critical things is to make sure at the end of that time frame, as people near what had previously been the time limit of the 73 weeks, we need to make sure we give them those additional 13 weeks as we help re-energize the workforce here in the state of Wisconsin. So the other thing just to mention, and I can't repeat it enough, is for those looking for work, not only is there optimism in terms of these job numbers growing over the last 6 months, the other critical thing to remember, and this is something that often gets glossed over, for those of you in the media, I hope somewhere in your story you find a way to plug this in, but we have a website called JobCenterOfWisconsin.com. There are now some 32,000 job postings on that website today. JobCenterOfWisconsin.com. There are 32,000 job postings of employers who are looking for workers to fill those jobs in the state of Wisconsin, even as we speak now. That goes beyond potentially others that we don't even know about. But right now, 32,000 are ready, are open and ready for individuals seeking employment in the state of Wisconsin. So our hope is not only we continue to push for more things that allow the private sector to create jobs in the state, we're hopeful for those jobs that people who are looking for work, who've been on unemployment and who are hoping to find the next step to take care of themselves and their families, that they'll look at this site or they'll pass it on to a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or someone else they know who might be looking for a job right now, because the Department for Workforce Development has aggressively sought out employers and encourage others who have jobs to go to that site and help us get that message out as well. But we have jobs here in the state of Wisconsin. We just need to plug people into those as well. With that, I'll sign the bill and then I'll come back up and sign.